I'm bound to come here, if Allah wills, during my lifetime at least once. And I've been most fortunate with the people who have helped me come to the position I'm in today. And you're one of them, Brother Yusuf, to have this marvelous experience to come on this Hajj. It really has been. It's not been easy for me because I'm not as young as I used to be. And I'm not really, to be quite honest, used to a lot of crowds of people. But it's been worth it, and I've struggled on, and I think I've completed everything as it should have been done, inshallah.
That and more. I've been with you right along, and I'm sure that you've done that and more, inshallah. And now we would like to ask you a question. Through your life, now you're 85 years old, mashallah, and this is, many people never attain that age. But in your experience, could you give us a little background, some of the places you've been, things you've done?
Well, I was born in Scotland a long time ago. I have a middle-class family. My father's a doctor, but they were overseas in Nigeria, and he was overseas, and I didn't really see much of him, so I grew up with Scottish Presbyterian Christian relatives, and they gave me the background of believing in God and worshipping Him. And then complications came on in that scheme later on. I went to a Roman Catholic school, and I was confused and never really adjusted too well to what was then a sort of new religion to me. And then after the 5 years in the Air Force during the war, I went to...
Now, which war would this be?
The Second World War, yeah, Second World War, sorry.
1940s?
Yeah, the 39 to 46, I think it's finished at 45. After that, I managed to obtain a job with a large company in the Red Sea based in Aden, and spent a year in London learning the business, and went out there. And that was when I first came into contact with people of the Muslim faith, mostly Arabian.
Oh, so you're not a newcomer to meeting Muslims?
No, I worked with them. We worked with all kinds of people there of different faiths, but I learned something about the Quran then and the Islam at that time, which would be about 1949 to 1952 when I was there. And then after that I came back to Britain for a short time because my contract wasn't renewed there. I liked to have stayed there, but in many ways Allah was looking kindly on me because a lot of my friends didn't survive the sort of break-up of the colonial days in the British colony to what is now, and it's had a troublesome background. Then I went to Hong Kong for a short time, working in a business company there.
Now, were there any Muslims in Hong Kong?
No, I never met any Muslims. I was completely divorced from any sort of religion, really, by that time. But, and then I went to Africa, to the Central African Federation, Rhodesia, as it was then called, now called Zimbabwe, and got a simple job, which is more to my suiting, with the health department, killing mosquitoes.
You were a mosquito killer.
I was a mosquito killer, and killing and dealing with the problem of schistosomiasis. That's a difficult word to pronounce, bilharzia, which can be caught from going into rivers. So I worked for them for a while, and then the Federation broke up. It's a long story, we haven't got time for that. And I transferred across to the veterinary department and worked in tsetse fly control very successfully, until I took and then the war years come on. I wasn't involved in any religious experience at that time. And eventually I got back to Britain, but then went back to Africa again. But in the circumstances in Zimbabwe today, I came back to London about 5 years ago.
I see. So now you're not a fly killer anymore?
Not a fly killer.
Just on an individual basis.
That's very true. But then I thought to myself, look, you're getting on in age now. Now, you've always believed in God, but you haven't been praying to Him or worshipping Him for years. So it's about time you got down and did something about it. Now, nobody forced me, but I always had a feeling that that Jesus is only a prophet, one of Allah's prophets, and I thought that the Muslim religion was the only one for us. So on the 10th of June 2008, and it's been the best thing I've done.
In your whole life, now you're talking about through your whole life. What does this stand out as the most?
I think it must be. Yes, it is. Certainly the most rewarding, and to be speaking to you today in this place, it's almost miraculous.
It is for me as well. I have to tell you that ordinarily when we have guests, I don't like to interrupt them, but I have to tell you something. The minute I met you, I was so happy to make your acquaintance, and I prayed that Allah would let us be together.